When you first start knitting, one of the hardest things to do is fix your own mistakes. So I remember I would always like hand it back to the person that taught me and be like, here, fix this. Or when I'm teaching someone, they're always like, here, can you fix this? Because they dropped a stitch or they messed up or something and they don't know how to fix it. So today I'm going to teach you 3 methods of fixing your own knitting mistakes. Hello and welcome back to the Knit Life Oils YouTube channel. Okay, so let's get into fixing some mistakes. So the first technique I'm going to show you is called tinking, which is literally knit spelled backwards, which means we are going to not knit backwards. That's not actually a great example, but we're going to unknit what we did. So this is really good. Like if you made a mistake right here and you catch it right away, tinking is a great way to go back because you can go back 1 stitch at a time. If you made a mistake like way back here, tinking might not be the best example for how to do that because it would take longer than like frogging, which we're going to cover next. So these are knit stitches. So to unknit them or tink, I am going to put my needle into the stitch below it. So not the stitch on the needle, my left needle, and grab this stitch essentially through the middle, and then we'll pull out the yarn. So one thing I want you to notice is that this leading leg, which connects this stitch to the next stitch, is in the front. If it's not, if it's this way, that's a twisted stitch. So when we are tinking, we want to make sure that the leading leg is in the front so that our stitches don't get twisted when we go to reknit them. So again, left needle goes into this stitch under the one on the needle on the right, and you pull it to the left needle and then pull out the yarn. So let me do a few more of these so that you can see. So, and then you just go back until the spot that you need to fix your mistake, and then you can reknit those stitches. Okay, so that is how you tink when there are knit stitches. Let me show you for purl stitches. Okay, because I know that this is a question I get asked a lot too, of does it change for purl stitches? A little bit, but not really. So the concept is still the same. We want to undo our knitting, but we still want the stitches pointing the right direction. So we're going to go into the stitch below the needle on the right with the left needle and pull the yarn out. Same here, just like this. Okay, now there's some special like technique happening here, but you get the idea. So that is for purl stitches. And then that is tinking. So that is really great for fixing a few stitches. But what if you made a mistake that was like farther back, like 3 or 4 rows, or you wanted to undo the whole project? So we're going to do what's called frogging. So now it's called frogging because you're ripping it out, like ribbit, get it? Okay. So this is where you actually take the stitches off the needle. So as you can see here, I've already pulled out the needle from this. So then we're just going to pull the yarn out, and this undoes your knitting. So if you were going to then put this back on the needles because you've gotten back to the point that you want to start knitting again, you'll, let's see, where is, yeah, okay. So you kind of try to make sure that you stop at a good spot so that you can pick up the stitches. But then you're going to, let me find one of these needles so that I can give you an example. So then you, again, want to make sure that that leading leg is at the front, and then you're just going to pick up the stitches. So you can feel it kind of on the next row if they're twisted, because it will feel different when you go to pick up the stitch to knit it. Do you see the difference there? So this one is backwards, and so we can put it on. Sometimes I will even pick them up backwards just because it's easier to pick them up so they don't run. But when you go to knit them, you want to make sure that that leading leg's in the front so that it doesn't look funny. So then you just get them all back on your needles and you can start knitting again. So that is frogging. Now let's look at problem number 3, which is a dropped stitch. So as you can see here, this stitch should not be doing that, right? This happens a lot when you first start knitting. They fall off your stitches and things like, they fall off your needles. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to secure this stitch. Now, some people choose to do this with a crochet hook. I really prefer just to do it with my knitting needles. So that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use the left needle and I'm going to put this stitch back on. Now that stitch is secure. It can't go anywhere. Make sure you got all the threads there. There we go. All of the strands of that one stitch. There we go. Okay, so now we need to fix it. So we're going to ladder it back up, essentially. So you can see that there are strands back here that should be stitches, right? So you can see that there are 3 of them. So I'm going to go under the first one with my left needle. There we go. And then I'm going to bring my stitch up and over. Okay? Now we're going to do it with the next strand. And then finally with that last strand. And there we go. Now the stitch is fixed. No more drop stitch. And now you can just knit it as normal and you can keep going. All right, so there you go. There are 3 different ways to fix some of your common knitting mistakes, and I hope that helps, and I will see you soon.